Joining us now on Ukraine Today is Violetta Moschelu. She is the co-founder of the Global Ukrainians Forum. Violetta, thank you very much for sparing your time to come into Ukraine Today.
Thanks for having me.
So, firstly, I wanted to ask you, what are your ambitions for your organization?
Global Ukrainians Forum will bring together a lot of Ukrainian leaders, young leaders, highly educated, that live all around the world. And we will have 20 Global Ukrainians in Kiev this week for our forum. And we will discuss different projects about people diplomacy strategy and cultural diplomacy strategy.
And how are you going to try and get across your strategy to people outside of Ukraine?
There are a lot of volunteer moves that were created all around the world the last 18 months since Maidan began. And there are really brilliant leaders, young leaders, that showed very good results. And now our ambition is to bring them together and to develop, to consolidate these moves through our international communication platform, Global Ukraine, and we will discuss concrete projects, how to promote modern Ukrainian culture, our economic resources, how to be more efficient in the hybrid war, information war, and how to develop the intellectual capital, because we have a lot of academics, PhD professors in different universities worldwide, very famous, like in Harvard Ukrainian Research Institute, Nadia Kravets, Oleg Kotyuba, for example, in Stanford, in Paris. Myself, I'm PhD, and I was a university professor in France last 10 years. And we have developed such a kind of new university, new digital university, a Global Ukraine Academy project, in order to transfer, to build like a skills academy for Ukrainian young leaders. And we have some negotiation now with different universities in Ukraine, Kyiv-Mohyla Business School, Kyiv School of Economics, and with some different universities in different regions also, how to spread new ideas about the global world, about innovation, innovation, about digital agenda, and about all these new opportunities that globalization give us.
And these leaders, they will be trained in Ukraine or in other places around the world?
We have like two main goals: to develop our Global Ukrainians network. That's why we organize this first Global Ukrainians Forum this weekend in Kyiv. And then we really want to connect our Global Ukrainians living worldwide with the new leaders, new young leaders in different Ukrainian regions, because we understand that Ukraine today needs like a huge national program of investment in intellectual capital, because we live in 21st century and we are like a part of knowledge economy, and today human capital, social capital, intellectual capital is really the most important thing Ukraine should develop.
And speaking about that, how do you think these leaders can promote Ukraine? Is it through lobbying, or is it through business experience, setting up different enterprises or cultural NGOs? We
have three kinds of Global Ukrainians, different academics, like I said, or successful businessmen, like, for example, Maidan San Francisco or Nova Ukraine communities with a lot of young Ukrainians working for such big companies like Facebook, Google, or Razom community in New York, or in Washington. There are a lot of Ukrainians also working in international institutions, World Bank, IMF, International Finance Corporation. In Brussels, we have also a lot of Ukrainian working in European Commission, in Strasbourg also. So we have the possibility to influence through the international institutions, through our business skills also, and academics communities.
And these leaders, are there any particular sectors that they will be focusing on? Because, for example, in Ukraine, the innovation and technology sector is one of the fastest growing. So is this one of your key areas that you're focusing on?
Yes, because I think that there are a lot of opportunities, new opportunities that globalization gives us, and I have the feeling that Maidan woke up all Ukrainians, and Ukraine really have the opportunity to be the first country to begin this informational revolution, intellectual revolution. So digital agenda and business education, innovation projects are really very important points. Our three key words maybe are networking, mentorship, in order to develop some new joint ventures between global Ukrainians living in USA, for example, and the global and the new Ukrainian leaders, young Ukrainian leaders living in different.
So it's all about different networks then.
Yes.
Yeah. And what sorts of challenges have you faced so far in your organization? Because, for example, now around the world there's a lot of bad news about Ukraine. Often the war is covered, although it's only a small proportion of Ukraine, maybe 5%. The rest of the 95% is as normal. So how do you get over these challenges of this information?
I think that we should develop new creative and asymmetric strategies in order to fight this Russia or maybe Kremlin propaganda and this information war about Ukraine. So we try to avoid the confrontation like Russians against Ukrainians. And if we want to be really successful, we should develop more transnational projects with the Georgian people, with the Baltic countries, and show to the whole world that it's not Russians against Ukrainians, but that it's more like Kremlin against whole the post-Soviet region.
So do you think your organization would actually work with other Russian NGOs?
We are open to all institutions and people that really understand, that are able to understand that world is changing, and the 21st century will not be the copy of the 20th century. And globalization and this social media, new technologies put the basis of a new kind of institutions, horizontal. As I said, Maidan woke up Ukrainians, and it's really very huge opportunity for us to pass from third world to first world, to be the first ones to live in a new paradigm, in a new global world. That's why we named our organization Global Ukrainian and Global Ukrainians. And
final question, around the world, are people optimistic about Ukraine and its future?
It's difficult to answer in a few words. I think that we have now some possibilities to develop, to show that in Ukraine we don't have only war and corruption, but we really have young people, very creative and able to obtain quick results. That's why it's really very important to mobilize and to develop this new energy and to bring together these creative young leaders, highly educated, really globally connected, that have already some good positions. And if we bring together our ideas and share our vision and develop more common projects, it will be really important and useful for Ukraine.
Okay, excellent. Well, best of luck with your organization, Violetta. Thank you very much for coming in. That was Violetta Moskelu. She is the co-founder of the Global Ukrainians Forum. Now back to the news.